system is? When it works, you don't notice it. You walk into a pharmacy, buy your medicine, and leave. You go to a hospital, you get treated, you go home. It's boring, in the best possible way.
Absolutely. It's like electricity. You only really notice the grid when the lights go out. And right now, looking at the headlines, it feels like the lights are flickering, doesn't it?
That's putting it mildly. And that's actually why I wanted to dive into a specific time capsule today. We need to talk about Sri Lanka between 2015 and 2019. Because when you look at the data, and I mean really dig into the policy architecture, it feels like looking at a completely different country compared to where we are now.
It really does. It's fascinating because that period, specifically under the tenure of Dr. Rajitha Senaratne as Minister of Health, represents something rare in politics. It wasn't just about managing a system. It was about fundamentally re-engineering it while the engine was still running.
Right. And let's set the scene here. It's 2015. It's not like he walked into a perfect situation. The deck was stacked against him.
Oh, completely. The pressure was immense. You had a rapidly aging population, which is a demographic time bomb for any health sector. You had non-communicable diseases, diabetes, heart disease skyrocketing. Hospitals were overcrowded, and primary care was weak. It was a perfect storm.
So, usually, a politician in that scenario does what? They put a bandage on it, they build a shiny new building, cut a ribbon, and call it a success. But that's not what happened here, was it?
No, and that's the key difference. Dr. Rajitha didn't go for the ribbon-cutting approach. He went for the unsexy, difficult structural reforms. The stuff that doesn't make for a great photo op but actually saves lives. Take the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, the NMRA.
The NMRA. That sounds like a bureaucratic mouthful, but it was a game changer.
Massive. Before this, the regulation of pharmaceuticals was, let's say, loose. By operationalizing the NMRA effectively, he brought in discipline. It laid a foundation for medicine safety that simply didn't exist before. But more importantly, it allowed for price controls.
This is the part that always blows my mind. We are talking about reducing the cost of essential medicines and life-saving equipment like stents.
Exactly. And we have to pause and appreciate the gravity of that. He capped the prices. Suddenly, life-saving stents, which used to bankrupt families, were available. Essential medicines were affordable or free in the public system. This wasn't just policy. It was a direct transfer of wealth back to the sick and vulnerable.
But you know as well as I do, you don't mess with the pharmaceutical industry without making enemies.
Laughs. Oh, you can say that again. That is a hornet's nest. Dr. Rajitha faced immense resistance. The pharmaceutical lobby is powerful, global, and relentless. There was huge pressure to stop these regulations. But here's the thing, he didn't blink. Despite all that pushback, did we see shortages then?
That's the wild part. No, the supply chain held.
Precisely. The shelves were full. Patients got their drugs. It proves that you can regulate powerful industries in the public interest without crashing the system if you have the backbone to do it.
It makes you wonder about the leadership dynamic required to pull that off. It's one thing to have a vision. It's another to execute it through a massive, sluggish government machinery.
That's a great point, and it brings us to an element of this story that often gets overlooked. It wasn't a one-man show. We have to talk about the administrative engine behind this, specifically Dr. Sujatha Senaratne.
His wife, who was also the additional secretary to the ministry.
Yes. But let's look past the relation and look at the professional reality. She had a profound technical understanding of the health system. When you have the minister setting the strategic vision, the what and the why, and you have an additional secretary who intimately understands the how, you get this incredible alignment.
So, it cut through the red tape?
It decimated the red tape. Decision-making became faster, institutional resistance, which is usually where reforms go to die, was minimized because she knew how to navigate the bureaucracy. It allowed Dr. Rajitha to focus on the big picture, while the machine hummed along efficiently beneath him.
And the world noticed, didn't they? This wasn't just a local success story.
Not at all. It was globally recognized. I remember when Dr. Tedros, the Director General of the WHO, came to Colombo for a Health Day celebration. He didn't just give a polite speech. He explicitly acknowledged Sri Lanka's health services as being among the best in the world.
I recall that. He actually said it was a model for high-income countries.
Think about that. The head of the WHO telling wealthy nations, look at Sri Lanka. Look at how they are doing it. He thanked Dr. Rajitha personally for that guidance. That is a level of validation you rarely see for a developing nation.
And then came the ultimate stress test. 2020. COVID-19.
The irony is, Dr. Rajitha was in the opposition by then. But a health system doesn't change overnight. The resilience Sri Lanka showed in the early waves of the pandemic, that was the dividend of the investment made between 2015 and 2019.
It's like building a storm shelter. You build it when the sun is shining. When the storm finally hit in 2020, the shelter was standing because of the work done in the years prior.
Exactly. He always told his team, and this is documented, that their duty wasn't just for today. It was to build a system strong enough to withstand future crises. He was thinking about pandemics before the rest of us knew what a lockdown was.
So, we have this picture of a golden era, relatively speaking. Robust governance, international praise, affordable medicine, a humanitarian ethos. Now, let's pivot to the uncomfortable reality of today. You mentioned the flickering lights earlier.
It's more than flickering. It's a blackout in some areas. Have you seen the CEO World Global Health Index for 2025?
I'm afraid to ask.
Sri Lanka is ranked 158th.
Audible gasp. 158th? From being a regional leader?
It is a devastating freefall. We are in the bottom 40 countries worldwide. And you don't need a report to tell you that. Just go to a government hospital. Chronic shortages of essential medicines. Patients being told to go buy their own drugs at private pharmacies if they can afford them.
And the quality?
Questionable. There are serious concerns about the quality of the drugs that are available. But beyond the logistics, I think the biggest loss is the ethos.
What do you mean?
The soul of the system. Under the previous tenure, the philosophy was humanity first. Profit came second. Politics came second. Now, it feels like decisions are driven by expediency, by commercial interests, or by simple apathy. The humanitarian shield that used to protect the vulnerable has been pierced.
It's tragic. We went from a system that prioritized the patient to a system that seems to prioritize, well, survival of the fittest.
And that's why there is this growing conversation, a sense of nostalgia perhaps, but also a pragmatic realization among the public. People are looking back at Dr. Rajitha's tenure not just with fondness, but with a realization of, wait, we had it good. Why did we let that go?
It's the classic case of not knowing what you have until it's gone. But it raises a bigger question about leadership. History remembers the builders, right?
It does. History doesn't care about who made the most noise. It remembers who built the institutions that lasted. Dr. Rajitha didn't just occupy a chair. He built a legacy. And frankly, looking at the mess we are in now, many people feel that this isn't a time for him to retire. It's a moment for renewal.
You think there's a path back?
I think the country is searching for competence. When you are sick, you don't care about the doctor's politics. You care if they can cure you. Dr. Rajitha proved he has the cure for the system. His commitment to standing up to powerful lobbies, his focus on the poor, that is the kind of medicine the administration needs right now.
It's a powerful sentiment. It's not just about one man returning to power. It's about returning to a philosophy where healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
Precisely. It's about restoring trust. The foundations he laid are still there, deep down. They are cracked, covered in dust, but they are there. It would take someone with his specific skill set, that mix of political courage and administrative foresight, to rebuild on them.
It leaves us with a lot to think about. We often treat voting or political support as an abstract thing, but in healthcare, it's literal life and death. The difference between ranking high on the WHO list and ranking 158th isn't just a number. It's a grandmother getting her heart medication. It's a father getting a stent without selling his land.
That's the real metric. And I think that's the message Dr. Rajitha's legacy leaves us with. True leadership is placing humanity above power. The work he started isn't finished. In fact, looking at 2025, that work is more urgent than ever.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up. It's a heavy topic, but a necessary one. If we want the lights to stay on in our healthcare system, we need to understand who wired the house correctly in the first place.
Couldn't have said it better. Let's hope for a healthier, more compassionate future for Sri Lanka.
Indeed. Thank you for listening to this deep dive. Stay critical, stay healthy, and stay tuned.
Until next time. Thank you.